Alyssa Kogan up here. She's got a little something.
Good morning. Unfortunately, the senator was unable to be here, but she sent a special certificate of recognition, and this is in memory of Bernard Bernie Tieger, in recognition and celebration of the completion of the new Broadway Bridge, the gateway to the village of Tivoli, and its dedication in memory of a beloved Tivolian and his legacy of community commitment. Signed, Senator Sue Serino.
So I say this is Tivoli's new bridge, and while in many senses that's true, when it came to the construction, to be precise, we had very little to do with it. The reconstruction of this bridge was a project carried out by Dutchess County and their Department of Public Works. Thank you to the County Executive, Marcus Molinaro, Dutchess County DPW Commissioner Bob Balkines, Engineer Matt Dudkovich, and the entire DPW staff. I want to also thank the county staff who helped us put on this event today. You know who you are, and I appreciate your help. I can tell you that throughout the entire project, Dutchess County was in regular communication with us at the village, and they were tremendously accommodating of our needs and requests as we all navigated the logistics and disturbances of the now seemingly brief construction period. You get 16 months of that, and then you get 75 years of a bridge. It's not a bad deal. Years back, when the talk began about replacement of the bridge, the county was deeply receptive of the village's request that the new bridge maintain as much as possible the historic look and character of the old bridge. We all feel how important this spot is as the gateway to Tivoli. You drive down this hill, you come across this bridge, and you pass through that magical portal that leads you to the fabled, charming village of Tivoli. We all know that feeling. We let Dutchess County know how strong that sentiment is for us, and how much the bridge's architecture speaks to the history and identity of our community. And we are so grateful that they heard us and built a new bridge every bit as correct and appropriate for Tivoli as the old one. You know, during the construction, as mayor, most concerns and complaints came straight to me. I did my best, but of course I had the recourse to explain county road, county bridge, county project, and redirect those concerns and complaints to Bob and his staff. And now, you're very welcome. But now that the handsome new bridge is complete and many, many people have showered me with compliments on how wonderful the new bridge came out, I must again explain that it was not our village project and direct all those good feelings and worthy praise right back to Dutchess County DPW. So for everyone involved, thank you and congratulations on a job well done.
Very nice.
Subsequent speakers will tell you more about Bernie Tieger, but I would just like to say a few words myself. There was never a time when I didn't know him. I grew up here in Tivoli, and my father and Bernie taught together at Bard College. My childhood memories consist mostly of the fact that he was very tall and very slim. It was only much later as a young adult who fell, like many of us, deeply in love with my community that I began to learn that the village I was so fond of, that gave me such a wonderful childhood, that it was so lovable in no small part because of all that he had given to it even before I was born. The adorable village I enjoyed as a kid and that is here for us all now today didn't happen by accident, but by the intention and hard work of community members who came before us. Few stood out more strongly in this regard than Bernard Tieger. The Tivoli community is unique, and we are uniquely proud of our village, and that spirit was fostered, directed, and built up by Bernie Tieger in his many roles as educator, historian, as a village trustee, and of course when he led the charge in 1972 to give this village a centennial celebration worthy of it. It was written down and captured when he published his History of Tivoli in 2012. For those of you who don't know, my other career outside of public service is as an artist. I am a painter, mostly of Tivoli, and one of the great honors of my other career early on was when Mayor Mark Molinaro commissioned me in 2003 on behalf of the village to paint a series of pictures of Tivoli that would serve as portraits as the decades passed and capture our history. They hang in Village Hall to this day. Well, I had 4 chances to kind of capture Tivoli, and the first one was no problem. I said, you got to paint the bridge. The bridge has got to be the first image. So I made the painting of that bridge, and it was a great honor. But when Mark and I made those paintings, we didn't know that that painting would have another life ahead of it. Because 9 years later, when Bernie was searching around through all the images available to him to place on the cover of his history book, he chose that painting of the bridge. So, it was a tremendous honor for me, and I don't think it's insignificant that he chose this spot, this gateway, the gateway to the village he loved, to put on the cover of his book. He put the bridge on his book, and it is so fitting today that we're going to put his name on the bridge, so that his name, his memory, and the Tivoli community spirit he embodied will carry on into the future of this community. Now I'd like to pass the microphone to a man who knows all about the Tivoli community spirit. Please join me in welcoming the County Executive, Marcus J. Molinaro.
Thank you, Joel, and thank you, all of you, for waiting for me, although for those who know me know that that's nothing new. I certainly appreciate it. And to Joel, the truth of the matter is no matter what the project, no matter what entity conducts the project, the mayor always gets the complaints. And while he was kind in how he reflected his interaction with the Department of Public Works, I do know that the mayor's office did have to shoulder a great deal of complaints. None of which, though, from Matthew Kobalkin, and we're grateful for that. It was the quietest 15 months of your life on Broadway, and I apologize that we had to open the bridge again. I'm sorry. But I will say this, Joel and I, of course, went to high school together. I was very thrilled when Joel entered into public service, and I have said this once or twice before. Joel has done a remarkable job as mayor of this tremendously gifted and beautiful community. I like to think that he's actually the second best mayor in the history of the village of Tivoli, second to Ed Neese. So Dutchess County's Department of Public Works reconstructs and opens bridges all year, every year. However, I can assure you, and to the residents of the village of Tivoli, no bridge has had the kind of attention and care as this one has. I would like to suggest it was because I was once mayor and once lived here, and my children still play here, and Bob Balkind works for me. But the truth of the matter is the Department of Public Works recognized the value and the importance of this particular bridge in this particular community. And for those of us who have called Tivoli home, we know that this is the place that welcomes both family home visitors to our community and students and travelers in and out of this very, very special place. So it is appropriate and fitting that this bridge be dedicated to a man who recognized the value of community. And while I would offer to you that I wish that we could have held the shark's teeth top of the bridge, apparently that is no longer appropriate in accordance with federal highway laws. However, the bridge looks remarkably like and very fitting for and to the village of Tivoli. So I too served with Bernie Tieger, and I too remember him as tall and thin. And like all of you, though, I also remember him as a wealth of knowledge, a brilliant and caring individual who, in many ways, loved this community and inspired others to love it as he did. In some ways, dedicating this bridge is appropriate beyond perhaps simply the acknowledgement of his connection to our history. But a bridge is both a literal and symbolic and crossing, if you will, for all of us, right? Bridges cross over creeks and streams and rivers. Symbolically, bridges bring people together. And Bernie Tieger, through his entire life, was in many ways a bridge between the past, a rich and robust and beautiful past of the village of Tivoli, and what was his bustling present, and now a vibrant future. He was a bridge between generations, those who had toiled and worked and lived in the village, and those who had just found themselves as new residents. He was a bridge between students and longtime families, bringing together those who would find Tivoli as a new place to be creative and thoughtful and a little bit wild and youthful, and those who would see the village of Tivoli as, you know, that place that always had those great good old days. He was the bridge between those generations. He was also in a lot of ways a bridge between those of us who chose to serve in elected office, and he did for a brief moment, but also those who serve this community in so many other ways. So it is fitting that this bridge, the four-post bridge that welcomes people to this community, a very special place, ultimately bear his name. And so I can tell you that as the former mayor, but more importantly as a former Tivolian, this place, as it has rested in each of your hearts, rests comfortably in mine, and today is just one more way that we celebrate those who have made it such a wonderful place to live, work, and raise a family. So yes, Joel, this bridge is owned and maintained by the Dutchess County Department of Public Works, which means you cannot dedicate it, only I can. But at Mayor Griffith's urging, encouragement, the village board's support, and more importantly, every resident who has ever called this village home, I think will appreciate today that on behalf of the nearly 300,000 people who call Dutchess County home, this former mayor is very proud to dedicate this bridge in honor and memory of a man who stood very tall in a community among very tall and committed public servants, Bernie Tieger. So on behalf of the people of the village of Tivoli, I know that Legislator Munn joins me, although he was not in the legislature when we voted to move forward on this bridge. His predecessor, Mickey Strawinski, was. We've been blessed to have a long history of county legislators who have, regardless of party, been supportive of the communities and the investment in this community. I count myself among them. But I know that Chris joins me in extending to Trish and to all those who knew and loved Bernie this proclamation, officially dedicating this bridge. Now, therefore, I, Marcus J. Molinaro, County Executive of Dutchess, do hereby dedicate the newly restored bridge, Broadway Bridge, Red Hook 25, it's its technical name, to the memory of a beloved Tivolian and friend to us all, Bernard Bernie Tieger. Ladies and gentlemen, Trish Tieger.
Oh, it's just nice, okay, I'll get everybody, so thank you so much. On January 12th,